Welcome everyone to Bronx Community Board 7's March 28, 2023 General Board Meeting. My name is Carla Cabrera Carrera. I'm the Deputy District Manager. On March 21st, Mayor Adams issued Executive Order 363, extending the state of emergency through April 21st. According to the Video Conferencing Law, Chapter 56 of the Laws of 2022, Part WW, this allows the Community Board to continue to host our public meetings remotely. All of our meeting reminders are sent via email using Constant Contact, so please always check your spam inbox just in case it makes its way over there. All of our reminders are also posted on all of our social media pages, and the minutes will appear on our website, and the recordings are going to be published on YouTube. Please remain muted when you're not speaking. If you're calling in from your cell phone or landline, listen to the following controls for joining. To hear all available commands, enter ** on your phone, *6 to mute or unmute yourself, *9 to virtually raise your hand. Our code of conduct is as follows. Bronx Community Board 7 has the right to remove and or ask a member of the public to leave a meeting or block participation of anyone who engages in inappropriate conduct, including but not limited to obscene or offensive images or language, personal attacks, threats, or any other behavior that reasonably impedes the orderly administration of the meeting. Repeated offenses will be reviewed by the board's executive committee or any other assigned committee for a ban, the amount of time to be objectively determined by the above committees of the participant in the event of repeated disruptive behavior. If in-person outbursts or attacks continue, this will be considered disturbing the peace and the authorities shall be summoned. I will now start the public hearing public session. This is an opportunity for the public to comment on the motions we have and or to make announcements. I'll start by calling our elected officials. Mayor's office. The New York City Public Advocate's Office, the New York City Comptroller's Office, the Bronx Borough President's Office, the Bronx District Attorney's Office.
Hey, that's me. Give me 1 second. Okay, so I just have one announcement. So Saturday, April 15th, from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m., we will be hosting our sixth annual Bronx Child Safety Fair in collaboration with the New York Yankees. And the location is Baychester Community Center. The address is 1220 East 229th Street, Bronx, New York, 10466. During this event, kids can come and learn about internet safety, body safety, bullying prevention, and so much more. If you need further information, you can contact me. I left my information in the chat. And yeah, come out. The DA will be there, and we're going to have music, face painting, food, all kinds of fun going on. And again, it's Saturday, April 15th from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you, Robert.
Where is it, Robert?
I'm sorry, put myself on mute. It's basically it's going to be at the Baychester Community Center, and the address is 1220 East 229th Street, Bronx, New York. I'll put the address in the chat as well, and all this information. I'm not familiar with actually inserting a flyer in Zoom, so I'm just going to basically just put the important information and details. Thank you.
Thank you, Robert. You can also send me the flyer, and we can share in our newsletter.
Oh, cool. All right, no problem.
Thank you. The 52nd Precinct. Officer Echeverria, Officer Capo, are you on?
Yes, I'm on. Hi, Carl. How are you? Thank you for having me tonight. 52nd precinct in the last 28-day period. We're down 2% from 151 index crimes to 148 this year. The only category that we're up in is burglaries, which is 18 to 12. We did have one newsworthy incident, MOS involved shooting, where we responded to a person who was having a mental health crisis. He was armed with a knife. He was acting violent, and unfortunately, force was used. He's in a critical condition, and we're hoping that he pulls through. We'll learn more about his condition as the days come forward. Do have a couple announcements. I posted some things in the chat. We are doing a fire relief donation, working with you guys here at CB7 for the fire victims on March 1st at 2718 Morris Avenue. About 25 people were displaced. They lost everything from their clothing to their pictures, and it would be great if our community could just get together and just give them a little sign of hope that people are caring about them. So we'll be collecting things at the 52nd precinct from April 3rd to April 26th. And hopefully have a nice event where we can give these things to them at another date. Secondly, also posted in the chat, summer youth employment ends on the 31st. So if you have any young people ages 14 to 24 who need a job over the summer, they have a few days left to submit online. That's also in the chat. And lastly, the 5-2 Precinct Community Council meeting will be held in person on April 27th at 3100 Webster Avenue, which is the Doe Building at 7 p.m. So hope to see you guys there. If you guys have any questions for me, I'll be here.
Thank you, Officer Echeverria. Next, we have Assembly Member Jeffrey Dinowitz.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for calling on me. I am on my cell phone. I'm in Albany. We are in the middle of budget negotiations, which are supposed to be finished by the end of the week. Let's hope so. And I'm just going to mention a couple of things because I know you got a lot of stuff to do and we got a lot of budget stuff to do. One of the there's a piece of legislation which I'm working on with some of my colleagues to address the issue, which I know we're having all over the place, and it deals with the rash of shoplifting incidents and the fact that some people are doing this and doing it multiple times. The legislation would create a higher penalty if somebody is convicted a second time of shoplifting within a 2-year period. And I got to tell you, the calls that we've gotten from local stores, from supermarkets, from bodegas, as well as there's just overwhelming support for this because a lot of our stores are really getting hit hard by this. So for the budget, but in the budget, we're working on a number of the housing issues. The governor has put forth a program to try to increase the amount of housing built in the state, particularly affordable housing. But one thing which I'm particularly interested in is a piece called good cause eviction, which would limit rent hikes for unregulated apartments. And that's really important to a lot of people in the Bronx because not everybody is rent stabilized, rent regulated, and rents are just going out of control. And it's forcing a lot of people out of their apartments, in many cases, to become homeless. We are planning on putting huge increases of funding into the budget for education, for our schools, for our school kids. And we're also working on trying to find ways to fund the MTA so that they can not only improve service, make service more frequent, but also making sure that they can have the bus service in particular in the Bronx that we want. And there are a number of different competing plans to try to find ways to fund the MTA, including various taxes and other ways to bring in money. But I think we all agree that we need to do much to work on our subway and bus service. We're going to finalize the budget. The deadline is coming up, but hopefully we won't be too late. But I will report to you at the next meeting on what the final outcome was, but I just wanted to highlight those couple of areas, and I will stop there. As I said, I know you have a lot of people talking tonight, so I thank you very much for giving me a few minutes. Have a good night, everybody.
Thank you, Assembly Member. Next, we have State Senator Gustavo Rivera. State Senator Robert Jackson.
Hi, everyone. My name is Caridad Figueroa, Community Liaison for State Senator Robert Jackson's office. Hope everyone's doing well. I'd like to invite you all to our next satellite office visits. Will be April 5th at Jerome Park Library. That's 1118 at EM Street. That's at the public library. Also, I'd like to touch briefly on what the senator is doing up in Albany. The senator is negotiating the budget, which we hope will pass no later than April 3rd. As you may have heard, the Senate majority passed the one House budget resolution. Some highlights include increasing the Emergency Rental Assistance Program, which is the ERAP, to $389 million for a total of $639 million, and supporting the advancement of tenant protections that align with core principles of good cause eviction. In education, fully funded foundation aid for the first time in our state history, rejecting SUNY and CUNY tuition hikes, over $765 million for CUNY and over $5 million for SUNY in operational and capital funding. $623 million to expand childcare. Regarding small businesses, $100 million to create a small business development grants program. Our office included an extensive summary on the One House budget on our last e-update. You may subscribe to receive these updates by sending an email to jackson@nysenate.gov. Senator Jackson also became the lead sponsor of the One Fair Wage Act, which is Senate Bill S5567, which provides minimum wage requirements for miscellaneous industry workers, establishing the Restaurant and Restaurant Workers Recovery Loan Program, creates Restaurant Worker Recovery Fund that allocates funds for these programs, for these workers. So that's just a briefing of what the senator is doing up in Albany. If anyone has any questions, my email is figueroa@nysenate.gov, and our telephone number here is 212-544-0173. And again, my name is Caridad Figueroa. Does anyone have any questions? Okay,
Thank you, Caridad.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Could you please share your contact information in the chat as well? And
Sure, I did, and I'll do it again.
Okay,
I did in the
thank
beginning.
you.
Okay, great. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Assembly Member George Alvarez office. Assembly Member John Sakaro's office.
There we go. Hi all. My name is Evan Weinberg. I am the Assembly Member's Director of Community Affairs. So you're going to be seeing a lot of me. And it's nice to meet you all, and hopefully we'll all get to meet in person soon. Just a couple of quick announcements. March is Developmental Disability Month. And we're going at this Friday, 31st, between 1 and 3. You can come to our district office and speak to representatives from Jacoby Medical Center and Montefiore Medical Center, excuse me. April 13th, we're going to be holding everybody's favorite thing, a shredding event outside our district office. We will also be planning more shredding events throughout the district. So if you can't get to this one, do not worry. There'll be more to come, and they're going to be all over the place. So you won't always have to go, because I know everybody has a ton of papers, especially after tax time. Like most of the elected officials on here, the Assembly Member is hard at work up in Albany, trying to pass a budget before the deadline. Couple of quick points on there. The Assembly Member signed on to a funding letter in support of increased certified home health agencies and hospice funding. This is from Assemblymember Reyes's, and it's related to addressing staffing shortages in CHHA and hospice care facilities. By all means, my contact information is in the chat. I'll put it in there again for you, but feel free to stop by, ask us anything. We're here to help, and looking forward to, again, meeting you all in person in the very near future.
Thank you, Evan. Next, we have Assemblymember John Saccaro's office. Oh, sorry, that was you. Hold on. Let me go down to my list. Member Yudelka Tapia's office. Kevin, are you
Hello.
still with us?
Yes.
Okay.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Thank you for calling on me. My name is Kevin Trujillo. I'm the Communications Director for Assemblymember Yudelka Tapia. So I wanted to briefly report the legislative work that the Assemblymember is diligently working on amid the budget deadline. So I wanted to just thank the former Assembly members, Dinowitz and Assemblymember Saccaro's office for mentioning a couple of legislative priorities that were taken up last week. So last week there was a rally or advocacy for legislation to protect small businesses and retail workers. The Assembly members recognized that the coalitions accompanied with the legislation is the best way to deter physical assault and against essential workers. It's a common sense legislation because amid the COVID-19 pandemic, these workers were the ones running our entire state. So I just wanted to thank the members for bringing it up. Also, the Saccaro's office, Assemblymember Saccaro's office made a good point with staffing laws to protect our nurses. And I did want to go over legislative priorities that were coming out of the Assemblymember Tapia's office. Just really quick. Thank you for your patience, everyone. So, within the last week, we've have reintroduced certain bills. A couple of them don't have bill numbers yet, but I can go over in detail with what those bills are if you like. So. Thank you, everyone. So last session, the Assemblymember Tapia carried 3 additional bills prior to the 5 that I will mention, which were all signed in chapter, meaning they were all delivered to the executive office and signed. So so yes, so the same as for Senator Parker's bill, S 2581, Bill 9645 from last session, we're introducing it again this session. These are the 5 additional bills on top of the ones from last year. So the first one was S 2581. The second one is A 9645. The next one is A 9606. And then there's 2 more from the Senate side that are same as. And if anybody would like the information for these bills, because it's a lot of information, I can just send out that via the chat, or anybody could reach out to me. I have my email information, so I could send the legislation purpose and rationale. So yes, S1546 and S966. And as far as legislative priorities, that's what we've introduced this week. I did want to give my time up. I feel like I'm taking too much. But thank you for your patience again.
Yeah, no, thank you, Kevin. And yes, you can share that information. I mean, I have your email, so I'll definitely be reaching out. And I'll send you my email as well. So you're more than welcome to send that information over to us, and we'll disseminate it widely, very wide with the community.
Thank you.
Next, we have Council Member Oswald Felice's office.
Hey,
George, are you
everybody.
here? Okay.
Yeah, I'm here. Hey, everyone. I'm George Cook from Councilmember Oswald Felice's office. The council member is actually having two events. One event is the Easter Day, Easter celebration on April 13 at Botanical Gardens. So if anybody wants to sign up, they could call our office at 718-842-8100. We also are having a Women's Appreciation Month event at Bronx Zoo. So if you want to register for that, you can also call our office for that also. That's actually going to be in the Bronx Zoo. And hold on, let me get the official date. So the Women's Fellowship Brunch is going to be March 31st. So this Friday coming up, it'll be this Friday coming up starting at 11 o'clock. And if you want to register, you can call our office again at 718-842-8100. We also have immigration services on Tuesdays from 10 to 4, but by appointments only. We also be willing to help people with their housing issues too. Just call our office to make an appointment. Also, our office is located at 573 East Fulham Road. Entrance is on Huffman Street. I will put all of my information in the chat. We open from 10 to 4, Monday to Thursday, and Fridays we're remote, but still 10 to 4.
Thank you, George.
You're welcome.
Next, we have Council Member Purina Sanchez's office.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. This is Adrian from Councilmember Purina Sanchez's office. Always happy to be here with you all. Thank you for all that you all do. For starters, I did want to announce that it is time to vote on how we will use $100 million for the community. It is officially participatory budget vote week. With that said, I definitely hope that you all get the chance to vote on how you want said funds to be used in the community. I will send the link to that once I'm done with my spiel. That's one. Number two, I just wanted to thank you all again for being involved with the Kingsbridge Armory process. I'm definitely going to sound like a broken record for the next couple of months. I'm just going to go ahead and continue doing that because this is really important. Definitely want you all to be involved with this process. It's your armory. Definitely want you all to have a say in what happens to said armory. So be on the lookout for more info for the next workshop. If you have any questions regarding that process, if you want to get involved, I will share my contact as well once I'm done. That's 2. 3, we also recently had an event in which the council member announced her $7 million investment in the Morris Heights Community Center. Huge investment. Reason for that was to address community concerns around just violence that had been happening. So, right, community had requested anti-violence resources, but also just resources in general, increased programming, etc. So thank you to those who showed up for that. if you have any questions regarding that process as well, by all means, don't hesitate to reach out to us. It was a great event, great turnout. Thank you again to those who showed up. Info about upcoming events. We do have an Easter egg hunt coming up on all, wow, I was about to say August. Geez, time is flying though. April 8th is when the event will take place. It'll start at 12 p.m. It will be in partnership with the Gardner Foundation. Thank you, CB7, for sharing that in the newsletter. Hope you all can make it. Hope the kiddos enjoy and have a good time. That's also a flyer that we will be sending out as well. So hope you all can make it out to that. And as always, don't hesitate to reach out to our office for any resources that you may want or need. I'm going to share all of my info once again. Thank you for the time. Take care and have a good evening.
Thank you, Adrian. And next we have Councilmember Eric Dinowitz's office.
Good evening, Community Board 7. It is nice to meet you. My name is Tanbir Chowdhury, and I am the District Office Director for Councilmember Dinowitz. So big update, you guys have been working with my colleague, Amanda Wilson, for a while now. She is unfortunately leaving us. Tomorrow is her last day. So I will be your point person moving forward until we do get a replacement for the CB. To start off, our office is still under renovations. So we are located out of Assemblymember Dinowitz's office at 3107 Kingsbridge Avenue. We have staff there Monday through Friday. And we have office hours in satellite sites in the libraries throughout the district from 10 to 5. On the first Monday of the month, we're at Mosholu Public Library from 11 to 5. On the second Tuesday of the month, we are at Van Cortlandt Library. The third Wednesday of the month, we're at Riverdale. And on the last Thursday, we're at Kingsbridge. We also have a group that we fund, ACE. They are an organization that funds and employs formerly homeless and formerly incarcerated individuals to do sanitation work. And they are a very thorough and responsive group. So please let our office know any location within the CB that needs a cleanup. There's trash, there's litter, anything of the sort, and we will get on that right away. As far as casework goes, we are currently helping with SCREE applications, and we're working with the Department of Transportation on the City Bike Station at 201st Street and Briggs. So an update will be provided in the coming months. And we are also helping with rent assistance and overcharges. So that is all for now. And it should go without say, but again, please do not hesitate to reach out to our office for help on any matter. I will drop my contact information in the chat, and it's nice to meet you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Timber. I see we have the mayor's office. Alina, would you like to make an announcement?
Yes, hi, good evening, everyone. What a beautiful day, right? The weather's starting to get nice. I see a lot of friendly faces. For the people that don't know me, my name is Alina Dow. I am the Bronx Borough Director for the Mayor's Community Affairs. I work to make myself readily available for anyone. Please feel free. I'll make sure to share my contact information in the chat. I do have some updates. I just wanted to make sure that everyone is aware of the Summer Youth Employment Program. The application deadline expires on the 31st. So please, we want our kiddos to get involved and, submit the application. The mayor's office also is offering an internship program. I'm not sure if everyone's familiar, but I'll make sure to provide the link in the chat. And we have the waste time is changing. I'm not sure. I thought it was at 7, but it seems like you guys got started early. Don't forget that the change of time to put out the trash is coming. If at any chance it does so happen that one of you get a ticket or something, please feel free to reach out to myself, and I don't have a problem with communicating with any of the chiefs from Department of Sanitation. We also, I'm not sure if you've seen it on the news, but the mayor was super excited to work with Big Apple Connect to provide free Wi-Fi and TV to some of the NYCHA developments here in the Bronx. We had a few, but the ones that just recently were able to get it was Castle Hill houses and Bronx River houses. The plan is obviously to be able to provide it to everyone at some point. The mayor is really big on making sure that everybody has access and accessibility to the internet. The mayor also he's planned to announce the combat the lithium batteries. So that's something that's going to be happening. It's a Change Life, Ride Safe New York City Electric Action Plan. So be on the lookout for that. We have the the citywide action campaign has launched with a partnership with the Hochul, and that we love NYC, and they want to make sure that people are it's a civic campaign to show the city's strengths to mobilize New Yorkers in every community. And as I always mentioned before, the mayor is really big. He wants everyone to make sure that you start to hear information directly from him. So please, if you haven't already, sign up to his email. You'll be able to find out things about different, obviously events, but things that are happening policy-wise, and then some of the initiatives that happen, and you'll hear it directly from the mayor himself. So sign up to that. And then for people that are closer to the Yankee, I know we have our things border, but going up into Van Cortlandt, the Harlem River Greenway is to be expanded, and it's gonna be beautiful. I was actually on the pass, and it's gonna be going all the way up into Van Cortlandt. So just wanted to share that. And the last thing that I'm going to mention, and I'm asking everyone if we can, it's the Breaking Bread Building Bonds Initiative, where the mayor is asking us to have dinner with, to host a dinner, and I'll be there if you need me to, with 10 people from different groups that you initially might not actually have dinner with. And that's a way to build bonds in communities. So if anyone is interested in that, please also feel free to contact me. That's about it. And I look forward to seeing you guys. I hope the weather breaks and we see each other soon. All right.
Thank you, Alina. And I also see Kenny Agosto from the Bronx Borough President's Office. Do you have any updates?
Yes, thank you. On behalf of the Bronx Borough President, she's made it her business to provide fire safety in conjunction with the mayor's office, in conjunction with the FDNY and the American Red Cross. We're trying to get the safe lithium 10-year battery powered fire detectors, smoke detectors, and carbon monoxide detectors. She had her State of the Borough on the 1st of March. She's made it plain that she's combating high infant mortality rates and working to make sure that moms get the best of healthcare. She's been working for public safety. She's been working very diligently trying to get all different communities together. We've been working to make sure that we've been on the sites of all these fires, especially the 6 alarmer that was devastated in Assemblywoman Yudelka Tapia's district, where the laundromat and the supermarket were devastated again by a lithium battery. So she applauds the mayor's effort. Also, the right to counsel, making sure that more people get an attorney to represent them. As you know, NYCHA is not covered by that. I know that they're trying to make some legislative fixes, but we're trying to get more attorneys to make sure that we can prevent people from being evicted. 70% of people get affected, don't have the representation, they get taken out. April the 13th, the borough president will be sponsoring the iftar breaking of the bread for Ramadan. That will be at the Rotunda, the Veterans Memorial Hall at Borough Hall, 851 Grand Concourse. We just had our women's event. We had an event for Women's Herstory. We had an event for Irish Heritage and Garifuna Heritage. Wishing everybody Zisen Pesach, happy Passover, happy Easter, and an easy Ramadan. Thank you.
Thank you, Kenny. And do we have updates from Senator Gustavo Rivera?
Hi, yes. Hi, good evening, everyone. I'm not sure if my camera is working. It's not showing on my end. I do have a couple of updates. I'm going to start off with a couple of session updates. I just want to make sure that everyone's well aware that Senator Rivera is prioritizing the New York Health Act that would establish a single-payer healthcare system and remove profit to move from our healthcare delivery system. This would also expand health coverage for all New Yorkers, including undocumented immigrants, saving around $500 million in emergency Medicaid costs. And I just wanted to start off with that session update. I do want to move on to some of our updates, office updates, and I am going to be sounding like a broken record, as well as Adrian from Councilmember Sanchez has mentioned. The Kingsbridge Armory is a big deal to the Bronx. I've lived a couple of blocks away from the Kingsbridge Armory, so it's also a very big and fascinating thing for me. So I am including, if you are in the computer and you're able to fill out the survey, there's a QR code in the chat that you can scan, and I promise the survey can take less than 5 minutes. You can fill it out at your own time. So I would recommend that if you could share that QR code with friends, neighbors, family, it would be great so that we are able to have as many input from folks to what they want the community and what they envision the Armory to be. Okay. And I do want to make note that the deadline has been extended, so I'll make sure to update the QR code flyer. All right. We also started satellite office hours. Our first satellite office hours took place last week. We will be at Riverdale at the Riverdale Senior Services the second and fourth Wednesday of every month. The next date is April 12th. So if anyone, you or yourself or a friend are in need of assistance, I do recommend that you reach out to us, to our office. I'll provide the information in the chat as well. But if this location is closest to you, please feel free to walk in. We'll be there from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. Our second satellite office hours are in the East Bronx at the Bronx House Inc. We will be there the second and third Thursday of the month. The next office satellite hours is April 13th, the same times, 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. We also have a couple of partnerships. We have a partnership with NIMIC that provides free legal immigration services and benefit assistance such as SNAP, SCREE, or health insurance guidance. The next immigration clinic will be happening April 21st, and an appointment is required. So I do recommend that you reach out to our office at 718-933-2034. You don't need to write it down. I'll include it in the chat. We also have a partnership with NICA that provides housing services, tenant versus landlord issues, more legal guidance that sometimes our office is unable to do. The next date we'll be having is April 19th from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. This also requires appointments, so please feel free to reach out to us. All right. Thank you. That is all my updates for today.
Thank you, Sari. Do we have Cesar or Paul here from Department of City Planning? Okay. Effie, are you on?
Hi, yes, thank you so much for having me. Good evening, this is Effie Artizzoni from DEP's Office of Community Affairs. Just a friendly reminder about DEP's Amnesty Program. This is a very important program. We know that many New York City residents suffered during the pandemic and many have fallen behind on their water bills. DEP is offering this amnesty program for customers in all tax classes. That means whether you own a building or a 1-2-3 family home or a commercial property and you have an outstanding water bill, you should definitely reach out to the agency to see if you qualify for DEP's amnesty program. The program offers customers up to 100% forgiveness of accrued interest if they pay all or part of the outstanding debt and enter into a payment agreement. I'm going to put the information in the chat, and probably most of you have heard me talk about it before, but we want to make sure everybody is aware of this. It's available until April 30th. In addition to DEP's amnesty program, the state is offering their low income water assistance program. And that one provides up to $5,000 to assist with the property owner's delinquent water bill account. So we encourage you to apply for both as soon as possible, okay? I'll put the information in the chat as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Effie.
Thanks.
Next, we have Department of Sanitation, Michael.
All right, thank you very much for having me. My name is Michael. I'm a Community Affairs Liaison from the Department of Sanitation. I just have two small announcements that I have to make. One in regards to the set out time change, which goes into effect on April 1st. Basically, New York City has current set out times of earliest of any major of any major US city. This new rule will reduce the time trash obstructs sidewalks, making our streets cleaner and reducing rats. Basically, residents have two options to set out their trash, recycling and curbside composting. If you have a bin with a secure lid, you can place it out at 6 p.m. Or if you place those items out in bags, you could place it out at 8 p.m. Directly at the curb. There are some alternate set out times for buildings with 9 or more residential units. They could opt in annually to set out their garbage between 4 a.m. or 7 a.m. Those applications are accepted only in January. So that opt-in period has closed. But for next year, if you go to nyc.gov // multi-unit set out, you could apply there for those new set out times. Also, businesses also have to follow some rules when they place their garbage out to the curb. If you do have a bin with a secure lid, you can place that out 1 hour prior to your closing. Or if you're placing out in bags, it has to be 8 p.m. or until midnight. We are currently conducting a lot of outreach to both residents and businesses. We're having conversations with community boards, obviously. We're doing a lot of mailers. I know I got one in the mail at my own home. We're also calling out to buildings. We're doing a lot of paid media coverage, digital advertising. I know when my daughter watches Coco Melon, in between the channels, they get a set out time commercial. There will be enforcement for this. Based on the feedback from businesses and residents, though, there will be a 1-month grace period to allow to adjust to the time, to the new time rule. So no summonses until May 1st. Businesses and residents will receive a written warning instead in the first 30 days. Written warnings will be tracked, though, and warning recipients will be among the first places inspectors will see who complies from May. If you want to contact Community Affairs, you can contact customer service at dsny.nyc.gov or call 646-885-4503. Another small announcement I do have: on April 29th at Orchard Beach parking lot, Department of Sanitation is having a safe event. You will have a vehicle entrance at Park Drive. It's from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., rain or shine. Some items you can bring to that are automotive products, syringes, thermometers, household hazardous products, electronics, but nothing like CFC, nothing too big, as well as far as like a stove or anything like that. Make sure that those items are done safely, especially those syringes, and label those items and seal them very tightly if you can. Thank you very much for the time. I really appreciate it, and I hope everyone has a great night.
Thank you, Michael. You do have a quick question, Betty?
Hi, Michael. I'm Betty Arce. I'm the chair of the CB7's Environmental and Sanitation Committee. I hope maybe at some point you come to one of our meetings. My question related to the set out times. Will sanitation be picking up the garbage in a timely manner? We have found in the last couple of times that our garbage has been sitting out longer than usual, sometimes even 24 hours. So is this going to change how sanitation then collects the garbage that's put out at 8 p.m.?
Okay, so we are running a lot more routes at night. So the rule is that we are going to pick it up between midnight and midnight of that collection day. Obviously, we'd like to get it sooner rather than later. It does help with the the mitigation of rats and so on and so forth, and obstructions and traction, everything like that. So we are going to, again, if the items aren't picked up in a timely manner, feel free to reach out to me. I will reach out to the borough office who handles that district, and we'll try to, do our best to accommodate and follow those rules, okay?
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. Next, we have Guerinos against graffiti.
All right, good evening, everyone. That was a long, it's nice to see all the politicians here. Very good, because I want to remind everybody that the spring and summer months are here. So you know what that means. Quality of life in our neighborhood will go rock bottom down. That's right. They will be out there in force, making noise, drinking, partying, and doing all that annoying stuff. So please, I'm asking everyone to really utilize 311. Why? Okay, I will explain to you. Yesterday, I made a blocked hydrant, you know how I hate that, complaint to the NYPD at 7:46. I got an email at 8:03 that they sent it to the police department. At 10:35 that night, I got an email telling me the NYPD summons that car. Isn't that remarkable? Yes, they were very efficient, because that is not a real dangerous crime, but they did officially still went out there in 3 hours and ticketed that car. But what my point is not the police, it's the community. That someone who lives in this neighborhood, knowing how badly the fires were, would leave their car parked at a fire hydrant for 3 hours. And overnight, that hydrant has always got a car on for over 8 hours. When they come in at 12 midnight, it's there to 8 a.m. in the morning. And what I'm trying to say is that it's time for the city to wise up, to increase the summonses on parked cars at hydrants. We should raise the fine to $300. Therefore, people will think twice of saying, well, the cops are not going to come by and ticket me. They'll be too scared to lose $300 a ticket at parking at a hydrant. And I want to include crosswalks too for all our handicapped people. So folks, take that into consideration, put that in that budget when you vote for how to spend that money. And let's have a great summer here. And please use 311 and make those noise complaints. Thank you.
Thank you, Sirio. Next we have, Chavi, do you have a question?
I wanted to also add to Serial. The weather is getting warmer, so that also means people are going to be turning on hydrants. And I am encouraging us to please call 311. With these lithium batteries causing these fires, we cannot afford to not have our hydrants with the proper water strength that is needed.
Thank you, Toby. Next we have Naeem Bash Raktari. Okay, Armando AJ Ramos.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
All right. In yet another attempt to request pride flags on Marshall Loop Parkway's Bronx Victory Monument, and with the rise of these Don't Say Gay bills in other states in the media, I simply want to quote former First Lady Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis's 1975 letter supporting the campaign to save Grand Central Terminal from destruction. Is it not cruel to let our city die by degrees, stripped of all her proud monuments, until there will be nothing left of all her history and beauty to inspire our children? If they are not inspired by the past of our city, where will they find the strength to fight for her future? Thank you.
Thank you, AJ. And I see there's a hand up, phone number 3900. All right, last but not least, Rachel Bradshaw.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. So for those that don't know me, My name is Rachel Bradshaw. I was elected to the state committee, the 78 Assembly District in 2021. I just want to let everybody know about an event that Friends of Depot Park is having. Now, if anyone doesn't know about Friends of Depot Park, we are a volunteer park group that was initiated by Catalyst when it was discovered that Depot Park is a high needs park. And in the past few years, we have held several successful events that has really helped with the maintenance and beautification of the park. And I wanted to present an exciting event that we do have coming up. We were awarded a grant by the Citizens Committee for New York City. And, I would like to present the event, which is the Cultural Expressions Installment Program. This is going to be a very exciting one because what this program seeks to do is support Bronx creatives in District 14 that are blossoming painters, sketch artists, and graphic artists. And so during this workshop, the students will be drawing and painting. So what we're looking for now, and we want the community board to join and help us, is first off, we're looking for students that are interested in engaging in this 3-week series. And we're also looking for volunteer artists who are looking to paint, who are looking to instruct in the park. And the big finale of it all is going to be awarding 3 of our best artists with grants. So it's going to be very exciting. We're looking to support our creatives. And we're just asking the community board and all the community to kind of join in. And we're looking to host the series in June or July. So I will actually post the flyer and where you can learn more about it in the chat. But a very exciting program. We're definitely looking in District 14 to just kind of help our creatives, help them to continue to blossom and express themselves.
Thank you, Rachel. Syria, do you have a very quick question?
The audio was breaking up. What park was the name of that?
DeVoe Park.
Yeah, Friends of Depot Park is the volunteer group.
Devo Park?
DeVoe, yes. DeVoe, yes.
It's by University Avenue on Fordham Road. All right. Thank you, everyone. That concludes our public hearing session. Madam Chair, please take it away.
Hi, everyone. So we've had a lot of elected officials, a lot of announcements, a lot of good stuff. This shows that, the community is moving along and there's things happening and we should be paying attention. So with that being said, we're going to move on to our agenda. I hope to make this a quick one for everyone tonight. So we're going to move on with let's go with the district manager's report.
Thank you. So we are accepting applications for the New York Yankees scholarship for youth between the ages of 13 and 18 years old. I will put a link to the flyer in the chat and as well as to the requirements of the applications. And just what everyone has been saying, if you're unable to make it in person to a public workshop regarding the Kingsbridge Armory, please do consider giving your input via the community engagement form that they have on their website. I will also post this in the chat. And I'm also going to share a link to the last newsletter that we sent out. What we usually do is we compile all the information that we get from everyone, elected officials, community organizations, and we share that information via our constant contact. So do take a look at the newsletter and we're always open to feedback. I'll also share my email in the chat as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Carla. Moving on to my report, I have 4 quick things that happened this week. Actually, yesterday, we voted, community boards voted for the inclusion of budgetary recommendations for the city and the state budget. This was done with the BP's office, and the BP's office will be submitting these recommendations over to the mayor's office as well as to the state. So that took place yesterday. I want to remind all of my committee board members that to take a look actually at the capital and expense budget responses and look them over with your selective committees so that we can focus on those agendas and move those forward. We haven't done so well in the past with that, but we want to be able to take this opportunity to look at these responses and address our elected officials, elect the appropriate agencies, so that we can get some better feedback than we've done in the past. We have to move those things along, and I challenge, if it is a challenge, all of our elected officials to please listen to us, to listen to our requests. They're very well needed, and we want the help. We want to all work together and make things happen for CB7 in the district. Okay, the next thing is at the exec meeting held last week, we discussed an outing of possibly getting the board together. A softball game, as now that the weather is getting nice. So I'm looking forward to getting feedback from the board members. Email me if you have suggestions, locations, so that we can start planning this out. I'm very excited for this. I think it'll be a great thing now that we're getting all together and the weather is nice. I think it'll be a great thing to have with CB7 and the public. Last but not least, there's going to be, I have to set off a nomination committee for the June votes for the positions of chairperson, vice chair, second vice chair, secretary, and treasurer, but now will be changed to member at large on our bylaws. I will be looking for volunteers. For those who want to be a part of this committee, you cannot be an active officer, and you cannot be, if you are thinking of being running for one of these positions, you cannot participate. So if anyone is interested, please email me or let Carla know, and we will work around the schedule to speak. That's all on my end. I'm going to move this over to the secretary for the roll call. Ruth? Ruth,
Hey, Jaura, how are you? This is Manzoor. You hear me?
We hear you, Manjor.
Okay, I like to know you now.
Thank you.
Okay.
Ruth, are you with us?
I think you may still have.
Yes, I am here. I am
Okay.
so sorry. I am so
Ruth,
sorry. I
we're
am
calling
here
on
with you all.
to take the roll call, please.
Yes. Larry's Acosta. Larry's Acosta. Tasha Andrews. Tasha Andrews. Betty Arce.
Betty Arce present.
Thank you. Yahaira Arias.
Shahira Arias present.
Thank you. Emmanuel Asamoah. Emmanuel Asamoah. Eric Asensio.
Eric Asensio present.
Thank you. Michelle Avila. Thank you. Toby Buford. Toby Buford.
Toby Buford present.
Thank you. Myrna Calderon.
Myrna Calderon is present.
Thank you. Ruth Caraballo is present. Manjor Chaudhry.
Manzoor Chaudhary present.
Thank you. Sandra Erickson.
Sandra Erickson present.
Thank you. Nora Fury is on leave. Hugo Gonzalez.
Hugo Gonzalez present.
Thank you. Alfred Grant. Alfred Grant. Lowell Green is absent today. Helene Hartman Kanowski.
Helene Hartman Kutnowski is present.
Thank you. Jean Hill.
Jean Hill is present.
Thank you. Mahabor Jewel. Mahabor Jewel. Andrew Leosa.
Andrew Leosa present.
Thank you. Rosalie Leslie. Rosalie Leslie, Yenny Medina, Yenny Medina, Diana Diana Pena, Diana Pena, Daisy Perry,
Daisy Perry present.
thank you. Edgar Ramos,
Edgar Ramos present.
thank you. Helene Reed, Helene Red,
Present.
thank you. Janelle Robinson, Chad Royer,
Chad Royer, present.
thank you. Victor Saldana,
Victor Saldaña present.
thank you. Maharani Subajan,
Maharani Sivajan present.
thank you. Carlos Sosa,
Carlos Sosa present.
thank you. Samantha Suvatis is absent today. Barbara Stronzer,
Barbara Stronzer is present.
thank you. Gwendolyn Thomas Steed, is that you, Gwen? Adeline Walker Santiago,
Adeline Walker Santiago present.
thank you. And Helene Wilson,
Helene Wilson present.
thank you. That concludes the roll call.
Okay. Do we meet quorum?
Yes.
Thank you. Next, moving along to review of previous month's minutes.
So first, I just want to issue an apology to the entire board. I have had some huge hiccups technologically with my work computer, so I do not have this month's meeting minutes available. So we will have them available to review for our next board meeting for both months. I apologize for this inconvenience. I do guarantee you that we are getting into a better groove here within the office, and we will work at better efficiency moving forward. And I thank you in advance for your understanding.
Thank you, Ruth. I've had those issues before. All of us have had a little hiccups here and there sometimes.
Get reconnected.
So we're
Here,
gonna-
Mabubu Jewel. Yeah. Sorry, I get
Hi,
reconnected.
Mama Gore. Thank you for joining
You're
us. Okay, I'm gonna mute you there. So we're gonna move on to motions. We have two motions to present. One is from Parks, Recreation and Cultural Affairs. Barbara?
Hi, good evening. At our last meeting, the Parks chairperson from Community Board 8 attended and asked for our support to send a letter to the New York City Parks Commissioner requesting a Parks Enforcement Patrol to be stationed at Van Cortlandt Park. Right now, we have about 50 what we call PEP officers in the Bronx. They are stationed at Pelham Bay Park. And if we have an incident in the West Bronx, it takes at least 20 minutes for them to get over to that location. Of late, they've been having numerous problems with vandalism, loud parties, etc. at Van Cortlandt, and they would like our support for this. Our committee also felt that being that this would be in the West Bronx, they would also get to many of our parks much more quickly than they have in the past. So our motion is to request a letter be sent to the New York City Parks Commissioner stating our support for the installation of a PEP or Parks Enforcement Patrol station at Van Cortlandt Park. Copies of the letter should also be sent to our elected officials.
Okay,
I'll
do we have-
second it.
do we have a second for the
I'll
motion?
second it. Chad Royer.
Thank you, Chad. Okay, Ruth, we can take a vote.
Any questions? Okay.
Any discussion?
Questions on the
Post
motion?
the motion on the screen.
It was in the agenda sent, but we're putting it up as we speak right now.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, any questions, any discussions before we take a vote?
All right, I just want to remind everybody that we certainly would not have it for this summer, and on our next expense budget, we would have to include additional PEP offices with a station at Van Cortlandt.
Thank you, Barbara.
I'm
Ruth?
sorry, Barbara, I'm sorry, clarification, you said that we would have to put it in our budget?
Well, they'll put it in their budget, and
Right.
we should in our expense budget, because quite a large area of Van Cortlandt runs along Jerome Avenue and Gun Hill Road there, which is in our community board.
Okay, just want to be clear. Okay, thank you.
Larry Acosta. I'm sorry, we made a motion to vote on
A letter of
This-
support for a PEP
letter of
station.
support for the PEP station
Yes,
at Van Cortlandt Park.
correct.
Do I need a second for this motion?
The
To do
motion
the
was
vote?
second. The motion was second by
Chad did, I
Gloria.
believe.
Okay. Larry Acosta. Is absent. I'm sorry. Tasha Andrews is absent. Betty Arce.
Betty Arce approves the motion.
Thank you. Yahaira Arias.
Yahaira Arias approves the motion.
Emmanuel Asamoah. Eric Asensio.
Eric Asensio approves the motion.
Thank you. Michelle Avila. Thank you. Toby Buford.
Toby Buford approves the motion.
Thank you. Myrna Calderon.
Myrna Calderon approves the motion.
Thank you. Ruth Caraballo approves the motion. Manjor Chowdhury.
Manzoor Chaudhary approve.
Thank you. Sandra Erickson.
Sandra Erickson approves.
Thank you. Hugo Gonzalez.
Hugo Gonzalez approves.
Thank you. Helene Hartman Kanowski.
Helene Hartman Kanowski approves.
Thank you. Jean Hill.
Jean Hill approves.
Thank you. Mahabor Jewel.
Mahbub Jewel approve.
Thank you. Andrew Leosa.
Leos approves the motion.
Thank you. Daisy Perry.
Daisy Perry approves.
Thank you. Edgar Ramos. Edgar Ramos. Helene Red. Helene Red.
Helene Red approves.
Thank you. Janelle Robinson is out. Chad Royer.
Chad Royer approves the motion.
Thank you. Victor Saldana.
Victor Saldaña approves the motion.
Thank you. Maharani Subhajan.
Maharani Sibajan approves.
Thank you. Carlos Sosa,
Carlos Sosa approves.
thank you. Barbara Stranzer,
Barbara Stranzer approves.
Gwendolyn Thomas Steed, Adeline Walker Santiago,
Adeline Walker Santiago approves.
thank you. Helene
Edgar
Wilson,
Ramos.
sorry. Helene Wilson, Edgar, what's your
Lee
vote?
Wilson approves.
Thank you.
Edgar
Edgar-
Ramos approves.
Thank you. And we have a unanimous approval.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Ruth. Thank you, Barbara. Okay, next, we're moving on to the next motion. We have a motion from the Health and Human Services. Michelle?
Thanks, Jahaira. Good evening, everyone. The motion on the table is for a letter of support for Neighborhood Shop's New York Connect program in the Bronx. So Neighborhood Self-Help by Older Persons Project, or SHOP, is a nonprofit social service agency located in the Bronx, serving minority older adults and those with disabilities seeking long-term care. They pride themselves in being able to keep seniors connected. SHOP is the provider of the New York Connects program in the Bronx. New York Connects works with anyone who needs information on long-term services and supports. That includes children or adults with disabilities, older adults, family members and caregivers, friends or neighbors, veterans, and helping professionals. SHOP's New York Connects program in the Bronx has staff that provide options and counseling to help Bronx residents link with home care, caregiver supports, care coordination, respite care, transportation, home delivered meals, health insurance information, and more. They are requesting a letter of support for their application to the New York City Department of the Aging's request for information for the New York Connects program. They plan to reapply as they've been successful with the program since its inception in 2015. The Health and Human Services Committee understands the value of this program in serving Bronx residents and connecting them with the long-term services and supports they need. The motion on the table is to move forward with writing a letter of support.
Second the motion.
Thank you, Betty. Do we have any questions or discussions?
Yeah, one question. Is that a for-profit or non-for-profit?
Not for profit.
Any other questions? Ugo?
Yes, are they the only organization applying for this?
I believe they're the Bronx provider, and they have been. So the contracts are awarded by borough from New York State. So they are the Bronx provider that's been in existence, and they're the ones that approach us for this letter.
So there could be other providers. There could be other groups applying for the same position.
There could be, yes, but they're the current provider right now.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions, discussions? Okay, so take it to a vote. Ruth?
Betty Arce,
Betty Arce,
Betty Arce, second the motion.
thank you. Yahaira Arias,
Yahaira Arias approves.
thank you. Emmanuel Asamoah. Oh, he's out. I'm sorry about that. Eric Asensio,
Eric Asensio approves.
thank you. Michelle Avila,
Michelle Avila approves the motion.
thank you. Toby Buford,
Toby Buford approved. Toby
Thank-
Buford approves.
thank you. Myrna Calderon,
Sorry, I was muted. Myrna Calderon approves.
thank you. Ruth Caraballo approves. Manjor Chowdhury,
Manjur Chaudhary approve.
thank you. Sandra Erickson,
Sandra Erickson approves.
thank you. Hugo Gonzalez,
Hugo Gonzalez abstains.
thank you. Helene Hartman Kanowski,
Helene Hartman Kotnowski approves.
thank you. Jean Hill,
Jean Hill approves.
thank you. Mahabor Jewel,
Mabubud Joel approved.
Thank you. Andrew Leosa.
Andrew Leosa, motion.
Thank you. Daisy Perry.
Daisy Perry approves.
Thank you. Edgar Ramos.
Edgar Ramos approves.
Thank you. Colleen Red.
Colleen Red abstains.
Thank you. Chad Royer.
Chad Royer approves.
Thank you. Victor Saldana.
Victor Saldana approves.
Thank you. Maharani Zubajan.
Maharani Sibajan approves.
Thank you. Carlos Sosa.
Carlos Sosa approves.
Thank you. Barbara Stronzer.
Barbara Stronzer approves.
Thank you. Adeline Walker Santiago.
Adeline Walker Santiago approves.
Thank you. Helene Wilson. Helene Wilson.
Helene Wilson approves.
Thank you. And the motion carries with 2 abstentions.
Thank you, Ruth. Moving on, we have the committee reports. So I'm going to call on, budget, personnel, and ethics. Andrew? Andrew, are you still with us? Okay, we'll come back. Next, we're going to move on to educate. Sorry,
Technical
Andrew?
difficulty. I am here.
Okay.
The committee did not meet in March, but I joined the board chairperson in reminding everyone that they should carefully review the statement of district needs, both capital and expense, and really look at the agency responses. We spent a lot of time on putting this together, and we need to hold them accountable. End of report. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew. Education, youth, and libraries. Leuris?
Hi, my name is Adeline Walker Santiago. He cannot be here during this time because he's in a class. So he asked me to speak on behalf of the ed chair.
Okay, go ahead, Adeline.
Thank you. As the district manager assistant also mentioned, the New York Yankees scholarship is live and we're accepting applications and we're looking for young involved members of the community. I'm reading what he wrote down. We had a productive meeting in March and the Office of Pupil Transportation was presented and the Norwood Community Library and others. The next meeting is April 17th and we will have the youth advocate offices presenting the New York City Department of Youth and Community Development. I also wanted to add that today I also heard that the NAB 7's meeting is meeting for the first time this year on April 4th at Marshall Library. And I will give the phone number is if you want to reach the liaison, if you want to apply to be a board member of NAB 7, it's 646-343-6721. And the gentleman who's the liaison is David Aglialoro, Aglialoro. Sorry about that. So there's still some openings in NAB 7. That's it.
Thank you, Adeline. Moving on, environment and sanitation, Betty.
Hi, good evening. We met on March the 7th. And some of the information that was shared by some of the folks from DSNY and DEP, I'll just briefly repeat the amnesty program, the water bill amnesty program that ends up in April 30th. So anyone who is has delinquent water bills should apply. We had and again, the whole issue of the time set out for trash has changed to 8 p.m. And there are some conditions and other things that you can look at on the website. I'll probably put some information in the chat. Other than that, we have, our next meeting will be April 4th at 7 p.m. And the agenda item, the most prominent, will probably be the capital expense budget. And I would like to see if I can get someone from DSNY. They weren't able to come to our March meeting, to have someone come to our April meeting to go further into some of the discussions of some of the initiatives that the Department of Sanitation, the mayor have put out. And that's it.
Thank you, Betty. Moving on, Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Affairs, Barbara?
Yes, we are still waiting to hear what the staffing will be like in our parks this spring and summer. One new item that we will be getting is what they're calling a late cleaning crew for St. James Park and Williamsbridge Oval. And that will start next month. I understand that late in the day, the crew will start working at both of these parks to clean up. In addition to that, I want to announce that we will be having the egg hunt at the Oval again this year, and that's going to be on Saturday, April 8th. I believe it starts at 12 noon. And our next Parks meeting will be on Wednesday, April 12th. Thank you.
Thank you, Barbara. I was going to mention the egg hunt at the end of the meeting.
Okay.
Moving on, Health and Human Services, Michelle?
Good evening, everyone. So in addition to Neighborhood Shop's presentation on the New York Connects program, we had two presentations. One from the New York Academy of Medicine, who's working with the Bronx Borough President's Office and Council Member Eric Dinowitz and Council Member Marjorie Velasquez's office to conduct an online and paper survey of adults age 65 and older who live in the Bronx. They want to hear from each of these folks about how well the borough is meeting their needs, and so just ways how the borough can better support our older adults and people of all ages. I'm going to drop the survey in the chat. And if folks need paper surveys, please send an email to our wonderful board staff and we will get those out as well. Similarly, the New York City Comptroller's Office is also conducting an Aging New York survey. And so we'll share that one as well. And please encourage folks to fill these out. It's really important for us to ensure that we're adequately serving our older adult population. Our next meeting is the third Tuesday of next month, April. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Michelle. Moving on, Housing, Land Use, and Economic Development, Eric?
I'm gonna let the vice chair of this committee give the report.
Okay, thank you. Sandra?
Thank you, Eric. Good evening, everyone. We had a great meeting. We missed our chair, of course. And then we had a very detailed update from let's see, DCP on the Fordham Landing South site. And they're going to be giving a presentation to our meeting on April 11th. They're going to be giving us an update on that Fordham Landing. And then we also heard from DEC about a very, very interesting update on the Kingsbridge Armory, opportunities for tours, planning session, and just a lot of excitement about that. All types of updates. They expect to have a final report in sometime this summer and then a decision made by the end of the year. So it was a great meeting and look forward to hearing more about Fordham Landing in our April meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Sandra. Moving on to Traffic and Transportation, Edgar?
Good evening. Our meeting will be April 6th. We should be having some updates from DOT and a couple of things about City Bike, and hopefully it should be an informative meeting. Hope to see everyone there. Thank you.
Thank you, Edgar. Next, we're moving on to Public Safety and Quality of Life. Victor?
Good evening, everyone. We met on March 9th. We had NYPD 52nd Precinct, we had Officer Acosta give us an update on the last 28 days for our district. In addition, wanted to let the public know that there's been an increase in robberies at ATM, mostly targeting the elderly. So the public be aware that the criminals are pretty much baiting people by telling that they dropped their money, and then when they look down or are going to pick up, they will attack them from behind. In addition, there's been an increase in Hyundai and Kia cars from 2010 to 20, with years from 2010, 2021, they're being targeted for robberies using USB device to get the car started and stolen. And then there has been an update on NCOs for NYP 52nd Precinct, so the community is encouraged to go to the website and make sure they know who their NCO is and be able to reach out to them via email. We also had a representative from FDNY EMS, Deputy Chief Arlene Simmons was on the call. She briefly gave us a PSA about how the public should be aware of lithium-ion batteries in the community and how there's a high risk for fires. Members from the public did mention that they're concerned that many of the buildings, they do see tenants or neighbors charging their bicycles and lithium battery devices on the halls, and it was advised that they reach out to the landlord. If their landlord's not doing anything, to then reach out to Community Board 7 so we can connect them with their elected officials to escalate further. We also had the Bronx DA on our call. I believe Carlos Torres mentioned earlier, on April 15, they're going to be hosting the Child Safety Fair, and April 19, the annual reentry fair. And that's pretty much all for our meeting. Our next meeting, it's the second Thursday of April. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Victor. Next, we have Veterans Affairs, Chad.
Hi, good evening, everyone. So I just want to start off by saying that our next meeting with the Veterans Committee will be on April 19th, which is the third Wednesday of the month. We also have our Bronx Victory Memorial events, the flagging events, that will be May 20th. That will be on a Saturday. That flyer should be coming out soon. As far as our last meeting, we had a couple folks come in. We had a speaker from Volunteers of Legal Services. Peter Kempner, who is a legal director, discussed what the organization does, how they help veterans who are 60 years and older. They help them with end of life and incapacity planning, which includes things like setting up power of attorneys, health proxies, and such. Any questions, you can reach out to www.volsprobono.org. I'll put this in the chat for folks to reach out to. We also had a guest from the Bronx Historical Society, Pastor Crespo. He discussed an initiative where we're looking to add social stories from our veterans who are from and live in the Bronx, where we can have a home for historical stories of our Bronx veterans. We hope to have some more updates as time goes on. And we also had a visit from one of our folks at the VA. The PACT Act, which was passed into law in August of last year. Now there's a bigger initiative with the VA to reach out to veterans at large to get screened in the event that they were exposed to any toxins or burn pits. They can possibly qualify for financial compensation from the VA. I'm going to share that information as well in the chat as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Chad. Andrew, you had a question?
Chad, if you could maybe tell everybody what you mean by a flagging event. Thank you.
Oh, certainly. So the flagging events, what we started in last November, we have a monument in our district, and what we do is we would place flags, American flags, as a sign of appreciation around the area where the monument is. That event is usually going to be no more than an hour. It's just a simple display of showing patriotism and thanks, where we place flags into the dirt area of the ground within the confines of the area. Does that answer your question?
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Andrew.
Thank you. Okay, moving on.
I'm sorry, one question for Chad. Chad, is CB7 not doing any flagging with the Woodlawn Cemetery, or we're just doing the one at the memorial?
Well, the one for the memorial is confirmed. I have to get back to you all, because the timeline that they gave us for the cemetery is only 1 week in May, which could conflict.
Okay,
And I'm not certain how it'll work unless we do it on a weekday.
got it. Okay.
So we're looking at May 20th through May 29th, but of course, the latter weekend is actual Memorial Day weekend, and most people might be traveling.
Mhm.
So I
Okay.
hope to get that out as soon as possible.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Chad. Thank you,
Welcome.
Betty. Next we have ad hoc bylaws. Myrna?
Good evening, everybody. So we had our final meeting. Oh, somebody has their hand up.
Andrew?
Andrew, do you have another question?
I think he forgets to put his hand down.
Okay.
I think.
No, I see it up again. So I don't know.
Andrew, you have another question before we move on?
Over it, but it's not working.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead, Myrna.
Okay. All right. So the committee met one last time, hopefully. And the committee addressed some questions that came up during the executive committee and at the regular board meeting about removal of board members that have been in violation of the attendance requirements. So we hopefully have addressed that. And as those of you who have copies of your bylaws, the attendance requirements are addressed in Article 3 and Section 4 of the bylaws. So the committee was tasked with clarifying what would require removal because of lack of attendance or violating the attendance requirements. And we felt that there was some confusion when we said consecutive, because it's very possible that in consecutive, missing consecutive meetings, you could also be missing your committee assignments, and therefore committees would not be reaching quorum and not be able to pass needed resolutions. So the clarification, thanks to our hardworking committee and Andrew Leosa and bringing it to our attention, that it would be better to say, instead of consecutive, that to be 3 sequential meetings. We still, there still are no excuse meetings. If you miss 3 sequential meetings, either committees or board meetings, it will be brought before the Budget and Personnel Committee as it is now. So you will be receiving a letter from the Budget and Personnel Committee. We are also, it's not in the bylaws, but we also agreed that the staff, the CB7 staff, would continue to help us keeping tabs on attendance. Of course, every committee chair of every committee takes attendance at each meeting, and that is used to record all attendance for all committee members. So please, this is why it's very important to check the minutes before you approve them, because many times, an error is made and you are at the meeting and somehow it's not recorded. So please, as a member, double check the minutes, make sure that you are in attendance, that if you were present, that you get marked presence, because otherwise it's going to be held against you. Right now, thank goodness, and our committee our unofficial committee member, AJ, reminded us that a lot of our, all of our board committee meetings and board meetings are right now on our YouTube channel. So we can go back and confirm. But once this the emergency order is over, we're gonna have to go back to the minutes. So please make sure that your attendance is taken correctly. And we will be presenting a resolution at the next executive committee meeting. And that would be also presented to the full board for a full vote, a hearing with the public, and then a full vote. It may be April, it may be May. It depends on how busy the executive board is. So just keep your eyes out for it. And what I'm asking all the board members to do is to please review the old and the new well, they're not new yet because we have to vote, but the revised bylaws, so that you have any questions, this office staff is available and I am available. You can send me an email and any questions that you have. And that is it.
Thank you, Myrna. Just to add to that, we will be sending to all board members the old bylaws, just so that everyone can have a copy, and we will send a revised one for comparison. And we would appreciate that if anyone has questions, concerns, they see an error, a typographical error, let us know before we go into final mode, so that we can have it properly put together before the vote. So this will happen in the next couple of weeks, maybe a week or two. We are going to put a deadline on it for questions and any corrections, because we want to make sure that we get this on the books and our agenda and get it through as soon as possible. Okay, so be on the lookout for that. Next, and last but not least, ad hoc DM screening committee, Michelle.
Sure. So the ad hoc DM screening committee has been hard at work over the past several months screening candidates. So I'm happy to report that we had over 40 applicants, which the committee screened on March 11th. We got 6 candidates in for first round interviews and are scheduling second round interviews, or have scheduled second round interviews with the finalists for this week. We will hope to have a final meeting by next week and present a candidate to the executive committee and board at the April meetings. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Michelle. Okay, that concludes the committee reports. We're moving up to follow up from previous meeting. Anything anyone wants to bring up? This is the opportunity. Okay, Sirio.
Yes, of course. You mentioned Easter egg on April 8th. I wanted to announce that my wife will be providing from Crusaders of Children's Rights. Justy the Bunny will be making an appearance there at the egg hunt. So you all must come and greet him. He's there to greet and hang out with the kids. So looking forward on that Saturday. Thank you.
Thank you, Sirio. Barbara?
I have a question for Andrew concerning the internal budget. Andrew, as you know, if we do not spend all the money in the internal budget by June 30th, it goes back to the city. And being that we're trying to update the office and get things ready for when we are going to be using it full time, do we have any money left in that internal budget? And if so, can you be sure that we spend it before June 30th?
Barbara, thank you for that reminder. The committee, we haven't selected a date yet, but the committee will meet this month and we will definitely address that issue. Thank you.
Good, thank you.
Thank you. Also, I saw in the chat an update on the Clinton pool. We are following up with 2 and 3 of our elected officials. It is my homework to get them to talk about this and get us an update. I guess due to the budget being in Albany and all that's happening upstate, they have not gotten back to me as of yet, but I do send them an email periodically. So I will be following up hopefully before the end of the session and hopefully we can have some type of answer from our elected officials.
Yeah, Ira, I'm sorry, may I just interject really quickly? So I do have an update. We visited the school and met with the principal and the assistant principal. We are waiting on the school construction authority to come and visit to make a full assessment. And that's the information that our elected officials is going to need to support us in this project. So if I hear that we have a date and they have visited sooner rather than later, I will definitely share that with the board. I just wanted you guys to know that I'm also in this fight as a supporter, as a parent, and as an alumnus of DeWitt Clinton High School. So I'm looking forward to getting this pool back up and available and serving our community.
Thank you, Ruth. Greatly appreciated. Harleen? Sorry, Helene?
Yes, hi, good evening. Two good news items. One is I called the board office and I spoke with Carla. We had an unsheltered man on the Grand Concourse sleeping in the freezing cold. And she was able to contact Bronx Works. They came pretty quickly and he has not been back. So I just want to let everyone know Bronx Works really seems to be very involved and be a good resource. The second item is there was a change where the number 2 bus, they actually stopped the bus stop. They canceled it at the end of the Grand Concourse. I called 311. Dinowitz's office was involved and the bus stop has been reinstated. So that's a major victory for this part of the concourse. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's good to hear good news.
It is.
When we make it our business to get our elected officials involved and get things done. Betty?
Yeah, I just, something that Barbara just kind of like tickled my memory. Are we going to be able to go back to that office since it doesn't have a second egress? Is that a realistic expectation that whatever is done in that office will be able to be used for, other than maybe for the community to go in and get services, but for committee meetings or board meetings? Is that realistic?
Carla, I'll let you answer that since you're handling
Yeah,
that.
no, unfortunately, the office will be opened to the public for constituent services, but we cannot host meetings.
That's what I
in-
thought. That's what I thought. Okay.
So we will continue to meet in different locations throughout the district.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, with that being said, I'm gonna close board business and we're gonna move on to the next meeting date will be April 25th at 6:30. Just want to remind everybody to be, if you haven't done so, Kingsbridge Together, look it up, do some research on the Armory. It's a big deal in our community. If you haven't done so, take a look at it. I mean, this is going to be great. This is going to be a big change happening here, and we should all have some information and do our research and be prepared for what's to come with that. Second reminder, the egg hunt, April 8th for Easter. Hopefully the weather will cooperate. It'd be nice. It'll be a joyous event. I plan to be there. Next, please look at your calendars. If there's any issues with your dates, times, your meetings, I know the holidays are in between. So if there is an issue, please contact the staff, email, call, however is best, so that we can accommodate you in case you have a change in your committee meeting dates. Again, I'm going to stress this till the end. If there's anything I do as a chairperson of this board is to please, committee members, chairs, review the budget and expense and the capital expense responses. It's important that we take a look and we take the next proper steps in order to get what we need for this community. And last but not least, in the chat, there was a whole bunch of flyers put in. Please take a look. If you're not sure, email Carla or Jade or myself, and we'll work it out to get you the information needed. A lot of good stuff was put on there that may not have been shared verbally with everybody. So please take a look at that. And Toby, you had your hand up and I'm sorry.
I just wanted to let everyone know that this Saturday at 10 o'clock, the Vogue Park will be hosting a pollination event. And we would like folks to come out. If the weather is supposed to be very nice that day, so I hope I see people from other areas of our community board.
Thank you. Really appreciate that.
And can I just wish those who are observe Ramadan, happy Ramadan. Hope everything is going well with you. And be blessed.
Thank you, Betty. Thank you. Also, quick reminder for everybody, you know, it's spring, seasonal allergies. Please make sure you take care of yourselves, your health first, because without our health, we can't function. So, you know, if you have any seasonal allergies, please make sure to take care of that, because we do have a lot of greens in our district. So please take care of yourselves during these, during the spring season where things are pollinating. Andrew, you have your question up? You have a hand up?
As long as we're on reminders, don't forget the Yankee stipend, $750 to one of our young people in our community. So encourage everyone to apply.
That's right. The Yankee scholarship is important. Hopefully we can get our youth involved and get them the scholarship. It'll be a great thing. Get to go to a game and get to have a lot of fun when they're awarded. Okay.
Was that with that Yankee scholarship? Because I remember last year there were some problems because they changed some of the criteria. Is that criteria still in place, or has that changed? Or has
criteria is still in place as far as I know? Carla, can you add to that?
Yes, so it's still in place. We have made the application like as clear as we can, but we're all like also open for questions. Last year we struggled, so actually 5 youth can get this award, and last year we struggled to get the 5. So all the 3 who applied, we were able to push forward. Some other youth applied, but they're sadly not within our district, so we can refer them to other community boards. But in reality, we would like to get as many applicants as possible, and we're here to work with anybody who needs assistance. I know last year I helped one of the youth with their resume, and just, I think basically we're asking all these things, and then the youth may not necessarily have experience building a resume. So we're here to provide that support to them as well.
Thank you. Jean, your hand is up.
Yeah, Carla, what's the cutoff date for this submission for the Yankee scholarship?
It's April 17th at noon.
Okay, thank you.
Well, with that being said, it's 8:32. I hope everybody enjoyed this meeting. It was a lot. I know there was a lot of elected officials giving us information, but like I said at the beginning, we're back. At some point, we're gonna get back to what we call normal. So these are things that are happening, and it's good to know. Like I said, please check out the chat for the flyers, and if you have any questions, the staff is more than willing and able to help at any given time. And myself, you can email me or text me or call me, however it's best you feel to communicate with me. With that being said, can I get a motion to close?
I move to adjourn the meeting. Jahara.
Second it.
I heard someone call my name.
Yeah, this is Manzoor.
Manzoor, yes.
I invite everybody tomorrow after dinner and 311 Benbridge Avenue. Our Vanessa Gibson coming over here. Please come, everybody join us.
Thank you, Manzoor.
Okay.
What was
What
the
is
address?
it? What's the address, Manzoor?
311 Benbridge Avenue, Kebab Restaurant.
311 Bainbridge Avenue.
But yeah, what is the event? Event for iftar dinner.
Iftar.
Iftar dinner.
Oh, it's
yeah.
dinner. Oh, okay. Thank you.
Thank
Okay,
you,
please
Manzoor.
come, everybody. Our
At what
boss Guru
time?
President coming here.
At what time would that be?
7 o'clock, please.
7 p.m. Thank you.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Okay, well, back to the motion. Motion to close. Oh, wait, Daisy, you have your hand up?
No, sorry. I was just gonna say thanks.
Okay. Okay, motion to close. Do I have a second?
I second the motion.
Thank you, Barbara. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, good night, everybody. Thank you for
Good night.
joining us. And